Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, February 16th, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Today's Parliamentary Assembly meeting was characterized by tensions between the majority and the opposition when MP Flamur Noka hit MP Aryan Brache after being accused of speaking offensively towards the ex-Prime Minister Sali Berisha. At first, several MPs intervened and then guard services stepped in to stop the physical confrontation between both MPs. Vice Speaker of the Parliament, Valentina Leskai, had to interrupt the session and exclude MP Flamur Noka from the plenary session. However, Democrats didn't accept the single decision asking for SP MP Aryan Brache to also be excluded. Flamur Noka tried to forcefully enter the Assembly Hall after the decision, pushing past the guards also. For more than 2 hours, the plenary session recessed, while outside the hall, ex-Prime Minister Sali Berisha and head of the parliamentary group, Eddie Paloka, accused the majority for the situation, claiming they are scared because of the protest scheduled for Saturday, February 18th. Meanwhile, Taulent Bala, vice head of the SP parliamentary group, spoke of opposition scenarios trying to keep Parliament in tension. Aryan Brache said he would sue MP Flamur Noka. The DP parliamentary group also requested that Aryan Brache be expelled from the session. In the request sent to the head of the assembly, they asked for a 10-day expulsion, arguing that Brache used offensive language. The Court of Tirana decided to leave Naim Abdullah and Ernest Kupa in jail for the Renus transport robbery, where $3.2 million were stolen. The two appeared in court today at midday. The first to be presented with his sentence was Naim Abdullah, who during the hearing confessed to portions of the robbery, but later chose not to speak further at his lawyer's intervention. Meanwhile, Ernest Kupa pled innocent to all charges, declaring that he is not related to the incident or to Ilir Kupa. According to him, both just happen to have the same family name. A day ago, the Court of Tirana stipulated that Dityon Memlika and Fatyon Juliu would remain in prison as suspects of the $3.2 million robbery. Fatyon Juliu, believed to have turned himself in and acknowledged the others, expressed his regret in court yesterday regarding the robbery. Meanwhile, in Dibra, the operations of finding and catching Admir Muratai are still underway. He is believed to have played a vital part in the robbery group. The police are still looking for part of the group, two brothers from Tripoya. The General Prosecutor's Office registered a criminal investigation against the Central Election Commission today after it was verified that in some cases the CEC had not fulfilled its duties according to the decriminalization law. The General Prosecutor's Office also terminated the mandate of SP MP Armando Prenga today after it verified that Prenga had criminal records in Italy for robbery. Prenga was also sentenced by the Curbin court for document forgery. The data has been confirmed by official communications with Italian authorities. The General Prosecutor's Office says that the CEC has known about Prenga's sentencing since May of 2016, but failed to declare it. The prosecution further declares that MP Armando Prenga is now prohibited to exercise his duty based on the verification of integrity of persons elected, named, or exercising public functions law, otherwise known as the decriminalization law. Meanwhile, the General Prosecutor's Office denied the SP's request to investigate MP Flamur Noka, who they accuse of being a spy for the secret Serbian services. The Sector for Decriminalization reached the conclusion that there is not currently enough evidence against MP Flamur Noka. A directive from the Central Election Commission could make the Libra Party's participation in the upcoming elections more difficult. Ben Belushi, the party leader, must first acquire 5,000 signatures in order to be a candidate in the June 18th elections. The Electoral Code stipulates that the collection of signatures is required only for parties that haven't had an Assembly MP mandate in the last 6 months. However, the CEC directive requires that any political entity should own a seat in Parliament for at least 6 months from the date of its registration application. The deadline for when political parties should register their lists of MPs at the CEC is April 28th, meaning Belushi's Libre party cannot fulfill the 6-month deadline and therefore must get 5,000 signatures to be considered for candidacy. MP Ben Belushi reacted to the directive, calling it an infidelity and a personal act. This is not a decision from the CEC, adds Belushi, but a decision of what he refers to as the Renaissance Band. The Central Elections Commission calls the General Prosecutor's remittal for a criminal investigation against the CEC a pressure before the upcoming elections. CEC Commissioner Danir Biba says this pressure is unacceptable, along with removing the mandate of SP MP Armando Prenga. Biba said that he heard of the prosecutor's charges by watching the media, as no formal letter has arrived in his office. He also responded to Ben Belushi's accusations, saying that he shouldn't victimize himself since no final decision has come from the CEC yet. Earlier in the commission meeting, there were a lot of debates and accusations between Biba and the Libre's MP, Mimosa Hafizi, regarding how the party must register before the June 18th elections. The commission decided that in the Central Election Committee, members should be divided with 2 MPs from the Socialist Party, 2 from the Democrat Party, 1 from the Socialist Movement for Integration, and 1 from the Republican Party. The 7th member will be chosen between the SP and DP. If the CEC zone is an odd number, the member will be chosen by the SP, and if it's an even number, the member will be chosen by the DP. Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta was in Vienna, where he asked the European Union to not regard the Balkans as a neighborhood. During the conference titled Brexit, EU, USA, and the Role of Albania in Regional Stability and Security, Meta said that the Balkans region should be integrated into the European Union. The EU should not regard the Balkans as a neighborhood because the Balkans should be a region integrated into the EU. Albania fully supports the 3 top priorities of the Austrian presidency of the OSCE. The door of integration should remain open for the entire region, said Meta. The Parliament Speaker further added that Albania is a positive example in witnessing that European integration can serve as a motor for the reform process in the country, saying, "We're lucky Austria fully understands the positive benefits of a European agenda in our region. Albania is doing its part to increase the governing standards in showing concrete results to our European partners. Albania is progressing in a stable way towards the European integration. The country is a positive example in witnessing how EU integration can serve as a motor in the reform process of a country. The historical justice reform will build the entire justice system and will strengthen the state of law, creating an unbiased judicial system," concluded Meta. President Bujar Nishani sent a letter to the Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta and other heads of the parliamentary groups regarding the Minister of Justice's concerns over the international monitoring operation. Citing a portion of the new constitution, Nishani says that the IMO is practicing its duties as predicted in the international agreement. It names international monitors after the Prime Minister announces them. Monitors are named from judges and prosecutors with no less than 15 years of experience in the judicial system. The President's letter says that Minister Vasili argues that the managing board of the IMO differs from this definition in the Constitution, as the role and permanent compound finds no support in either the Constitution or in the law. Nishani asks for the unequivocal implementation of the Constitution and the justice reform. In this way, no institution or structure outside the legal boundaries can take attributes of a well-defined structure in the Constitution. Nishani reiterates that the reliability of this process cannot be reached if the Constitution is not respected. This is why Nishani has asked lawmakers to make the process more reliable. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.